We are officially halfway through the year, and it's time to talk about those New Year's resolutions. Now, most likely, most of us abandoned those around the third week of January, but for those of us that didn't, how are they going? I really just think it's important to take a very deep, hard look at what you set out to do this year and where you're at with that. Whether you stuck with your goals or not, I think we all can agree that the easy thing you can do right now is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. That's an easy resolution you guys can all check off right now. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you will know that I do hate the term New Year's resolutions. Waiting until the start of a year or a month or tomorrow is just a recipe for disaster when it comes to accomplishing any sort of goal you want to set out to do. Instead, treat each day like it's a football game. There's 4 quarters in a football game, there's 4 quarters in a day. And if you want to start something, don't wait till tomorrow or the next game. Just start during the next quarter. Start in a couple hours. Like that's a much better chance that you're actually going to get something done versus starting until tomorrow or starting in a month or starting at the beginning of the year. On January 7th, 2021, I dropped my 5 goals that I had for the year of 2021, and I even wore this exact same shirt. So I wanted to come full circle here, or at least half circle, because we're halfway through the year. So it's time to see where I am and how it's going. No better form of accountability than sharing it with the public. My first goal for 2021 was kind of lame, but super important. And I just wanted to feel good leaving this year, mentally, physically, everything. I just wanted to feel good. My mind, my body, the whole shebang. It was a goal that only I could measure, and I can say with confidence that I feel really, really good. Mental and physical health have been a priority of mine this year. And even though there's been a couple of bumpy patches, a couple of rough patches along the way, overall, I feel better than I've ever felt before. And I'm hoping when I do this at the end of the year or at the beginning of next year, that trajectory is still going up. Next, I challenged myself to go vegan in the year of 2020, a full year of going vegan. Well, 6 months in, and I am still going strong with a plant-based diet. And really, that's why I feel so good mentally and physically, I think. I try to choose the word vegan pretty selectively now because I've learned that there's so much more that goes into being vegan than just the foods that you eat. And so every day and every week I'm researching and learning more and more about the vegan lifestyle. So I'm sliding in the word plant-based for now because that is how my diet is based. It's 100% plant-based, 0 animal products. What started as me just wanting to have a diet to make myself feel better is really leading to a lifestyle that I thoroughly enjoy. And as the more and more I learn about the vegan lifestyle, I realize that a lot of those principles I personally align with. And I'm hoping that by the end of this year and the years moving forward, I can go full vegan because I think it's pretty important. I'm not here to sell or push anything on any of you, just kind of sharing my experience with it. So 6 months down, lifetime to go. My third goal was to live a more minimalist lifestyle. We knocked this one out of the park, and we actually kicked off the year doing the Minimalist. It's a podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it. We did the Minimalist 30 Days Less Is Now challenge, where me and my wife essentially donated hundreds of items, either donated, sold, or recycled hundreds of items from our home. That's how we kicked off the year, and it allowed us to kind of breathe. We got rid of a lot of just stuff that was laying around the house, and I can happily say that we have not replaced that stuff with more stuff. I think that can happen to a lot of people when you get rid of a lot of stuff. You want to just naturally buy more clothes and buy more things to fill up that space. But that's something that we've been able to kind of hold off, and it made us feel great to start the year, and we feel great still. It also fits my focus on experience versus things, and the more times I can spend my money and direct my priorities towards the experiences, the better, right? Like the things are buying all that useless junk to fill up your house, and the experiences are going places and doing stuff with your friends and family and loved ones. And so it kind of just aligns with the way my mind is moving right now. Glad to see I stuck with this one, and hopefully over the next 6 months with a baby on the way, we can continue living this. But from all of my friends and family that have had babies, I know that this is gonna be incredibly challenging. So we'll see how it goes. Now, goal number 4 was completing our Arizona bucket list. So we had a bucket list of 40 things that we wanted to do in Arizona before we went back to Michigan. And we were cruising through this thing. We were doing amazing. We were having awesome weekends. We were visiting so much cool stuff and doing so many cool things. And then we hit a little bit of a bumpy patch on this, only because we got some news that we'd be expecting our first child in September, and as the year has gone on, it's been harder and harder for Christine to go out and like get hiking because she is super pregnant. And so it's not because we didn't want to. I guess it's, if anything, we might fall short on this one, but it's for a good reason. Like we have a baby on the way. But it is something that we continue to try and do whenever we can. Like there are some things on the list that, don't involve hiking 7 miles, one way. So we are going to continue doing that as much as we possibly can. And hopefully once we have our new baby, we'll just take the baby with us and, hopefully they can help us cross this off the list as well. But we were able to do a 2-week California road trip, kind of like a baby moon, where it involved no hiking or climbing for Christine. And we got to go to beaches and forests and redwoods and all this awesome stuff. So I guess that's like a consolation prize for this whole thing. Lastly, I wanted to read 52 books this year. So I got a little bit of good news, bad news on this one. I've actually already read 45 books this year. I know it sounds crazy to say out loud because we're only halfway through the year, but I have been hammering away at books versus television. So I have had a huge year so far when it comes to reading. That's the good news. The bad news is of late, I've kind of found myself falling into some bad habits. And so I've kind of lost a little bit of the motivation to read. And instead I find myself scrolling my phone or, watching Netflix for hours on end. Like it's a balancing act, but I know that when I am reading more versus watching TV, I get better sleep. I mentally feel better. It's less brain fog. I'm more focused. There's so many more benefits to reading books that I have found, at least, that I'm hoping that throughout the rest of this year, I can continue on the path that I've been on. I know that if I do that, I'm going to feel best. And that kind of goes back up to number 1 again. So there you have it, a quick progress report of where I am on my 5 goals for 2021. So where are you? Like, how are you doing? Did you give up? Are you doing amazing? Are you crushing it? Or are you struggling? Like, where are you at when it comes to the goals that you had coming into 2021? Everybody has this idea in their head that this is gonna be the best year ever, and I'm gonna do all these amazing things. And at the first sign of inconvenience or the first sign of struggle, so many people stop doing the things that they set out to do, and that's a problem. Another problem would be if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe, and notification button. That's a problem. You can solve that problem right now. The great news is if you aren't on track, it's only halftime for the year. And if you're like me and you view your life the way I do, whenever you hear this, you have another quarter of your day coming up right around the corner. So take advantage of that. Don't wait till next month or next year or next day. Wait till the next quarter in the day. And remember, these goals should mainly be for you and nobody else. I choose to share my goals with everybody because I find that it's the ultimate form of accountability when everybody knows your goals. And if you fail, there are hundreds of people that watch this that are watching you fail. So it's a little bit added pressure that I personally enjoy, and it kind of holds me accountable. And remember, if you don't accomplish your goals, the person that really suffers is you. So, it's not like you're doing this for someone else. You're doing this for you. And maybe 5 goals is too many. Maybe, you just need to figure out what's the 1 or 2 things in your life that you want to change and go after it right now. And that might be different than it was at the beginning of the year. I know that my goals now are evolving a little bit because we're expecting to bring like a life into the world, which is a little bit different than when we started the year, right? So find the 1 or 2 things that you want to do, write them down, plan it out. How are you going to attack it? And enjoy the next 6 months of this year working on those goals, and hopefully you're implementing things that are lifelong things, not things you're just going to do for the next 6 months. Do less and obsess, as the book Great at Work by Morten Andersen says. Like, focus on 1 or 2 things versus me focusing on 5, right? So if it's overwhelming, just do less but obsess. Whatever you need, do it for you and no one else. Your future self will thank you. Not a scientist or doctor, just a normal guy in a quest to better himself.